Matt Archbold of the US were knocked out of the trials final with losses to West Australian Stuart Bedford-Brown and Gary Green of Cronulla. Mark Richards dropped out of the trials at the quarter-final stage quite content to save himself for the main event. A-Surf left a lot to be desired, with choppy, sloppy conditions limiting the manoeuvres to an absolute minimum. Our Nikki is the up-and-comer of world surfing, but a talker he is not, and for him the media attention can be a drag.
Nikki, it is really a pain in the arse, isn't it, dealing with all the media? That's the penalty you pay now, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be a bit of a bother, yeah.
Do you let it worry you?
Yeah, I do let it worry me at times. Can't, like, when I want to do things, so gets in the way, but it's good for the sponsors, I know that, yeah.
But without him, of course, Nikki would, as far as a financial future, it makes it difficult, doesn't it? They two go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
What's life been like since the Bells thing? I mean, it's all gone crazy, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a bit much. Yeah, I kind of like to just go surfing and that, and but I have a good time. That's the main thing.
The Air Force prides itself on its high standards. It seeks to operate like a well-oiled machine, with an air of efficiency pervading at all times. So it's particularly embarrassing for the Air Force to find itself with a drug problem in its ranks. The personnel involved are all ground crew working at Williamtown, and were identified as drug users after a 2-month operation by RAAF police. The men did not live on the base and smoked marijuana out of working hours. According to Wing Commander John Irwin, the base's public relations officer, RAAF police from Sydney are conducting the investigation. He says it's not clear at this stage just how many people will be charged and dismissed. He quickly discounts the notion that the RAAF might be overreacting to the situation and that use of alcohol might be just as bad.
The Air Force has got a very strict and a very comprehensive policy on the non-medical use of any drug, including smoking of marijuana. And that policy, which is quite uncompromising, is that if you want to smoke marijuana, there's no place for you in the Air Force.
Other habits like, say, drinking, the Air Force doesn't take such a strong line on.
Well, drinking's not an illegal, alcohol is not an illegal drug.
But they're both mind-bending drugs, aren't they?
Well, that may be, but alcohol is not the subject of this investigation, and alcohol is not an illegal drug, as is marijuana.
How was it detected? Hello, I'm Jane Button. Tonight I'll be reporting on the proposed discharge of 24 RAAF personnel. The men, who are all ground crew, are facing discharge for use of marijuana.
For all that is,
join us tonight
at 6.
Anthony Wilson is 3 years old. He's an energetic and adventurous young man who keeps his parents on their toes. His prospects were not always so bright. When Anthony was born, doctors detected a hole in his heart between the 2 bottom chambers. He underwent heart surgery at the age of 8 months.
I had my doubts there for a while whether he would survive and get actually to the open heart surgery, but it was successful and he's leading a normal life, a very healthy normal life.
In the Hunter region, heart defects that are not inherited occur in 12 out of every 1,000 live births. 2 to 3 children each month require cardiac surgery, a procedure which is not done here. While the number of operations may not justify a special unit being set up, a support group of people who have children with heart defects believe facilities are inadequate.
I think they just haven't got the facilities here and the funding here. And I don't think in the near future they're sort of looking at it either.
From your personal experience, just how daunting is the prospect of having to go to Sydney? for most of the treatment that the child needs.
It's horrific for them and for you.
Not every heart defect is serious, and each child reacts differently to the condition. Not every condition requires surgery. The support group believes it can offer families comfort and advice. Margaret Brannigan lost her son Ryan when he was 3 months old.
You know exactly how parents feel going to Sydney, how they feel being separated from a family situation, the emotional and financial strains, just general pressures that parents and families generally undergo.
Seminars such as this one will be conducted throughout the state to bring hostel and nursing staff up to date on changes in standards, assessment, funding and development in the aged care services. The government says the population of Australia is ageing and it plans to provide a 35% increase in residential care beds over the next few years. Noel O'Loughlin, a Senior Assistant Director in the department, says that an important part of the new policy is the introduction of uniform nursing home fees to try to ensure standards control. He says too that many people now in nursing homes don't need the full care provided there, and so the emphasis will be on developing hostels with their semi-independent living arrangements. Mr O'Loughlin denies that this will mean a drop in healthcare standards.
In fact, the converse will be the case. There'll be higher levels of care available in both nursing homes and much higher levels of care, that is personal care services, available in hostels.
Despite the funding increases, some believe the government is not addressing the right problem. Robin Henderson of the Pensioner Advisory Service says that the government is submitting to pressure from the privately run nursing homes for funds and not really supporting the option of those who wish to remain in their own home.
What we see is a lack of alternative options for older people, so that their choice of options are very narrow in that they only can choose between nursing home and hostel care. And there has been a reluctance on the government's part to fund alternative home care and community care services.
To that, Noel O'Loughlin denies that the government is ignoring the area.
We agree, and the whole basis of the government's approach to residential care is that ideally as many people as possible should be maintained in their own homes, and that's why the Commonwealth Government is giving very significant increasing amounts of money to the home and community care program. But there are great steps being taken forward, and we've talked this morning before the seminar to some of the local people about the development of those services, and in fact they're quite happy with the way that they're proceeding. Of course,
despite this assurance, Robin Henderson says that the government is this year spending more than 1,000 million on residential care and only 132 million on home care.
There's an over-provision of hostel and nursing home accommodation in this area, and a shortage of home and community care programs and services. For example, in Newcastle you can usually get 3 hours of home care service a week and no more than 2 hours of community nursing service a week. So this really doesn't mean a genuine difference between people going into a nursing home or staying in their own home.
Thank you.
We started over at Dudley and it only favoured north winds, strong north winds, and every time it was blowing sou'westers and sou'easts, things like that, we couldn't go. And I thought, well, there must be a cliff around here that favours that wind, so I just followed the coastline all the way out and just picked this one and started flying around here. It was good fun. I know my limitations and I try not to exceed those, but it's pretty safe if you know what you're doing. It works pretty much the same as a bird's wing. It's the same thing.
What about direction? How do you stay in the one place?
Just putting drag on one side, pulling the trailing edge of the canopy down on one side. The other side is therefore flying faster, and it overtakes that side, and that way you turn. So it's just like pull the right toggle to turn right, left toggle to turn left, just like you steer a car. You can do some pretty good landings. You can land on your feet and just drop the canopy, and you know, just like walking off the bottom flight of some stairs. Just walk down, land on the ground. It's really easy. But I was getting lift when I didn't want it. I was going up when I wanted to go down, and it made it hard to get in here. Plus, this is a place where you don't want to make any mistakes. You know, if you make a mistake, you go off the edge, and that hurts.
It's been run at Broadmeadow since 1955, and it's one of our big four, as you say.
Looking forward to another great field, I guess?
Yes, it's a very even field this year, and of course Newcastle trainers have an excellent record in the race, and this should continue this year too.
Well, there was a little bit of a protest on it last year, I remember. It was quite an exciting end to it all, wasn't it?
Yes, Kiwi Kong won the Carlton Newmarket last year on protest from Count Bevic. Newcastle trainers, with Max Lees having won the previous one, and a little bit earlier, of course, Roy Hinton having a good record with Swiftly and Manawapoi. Continued the run of Newcastle trainers, with Max Lees having won the previous one, and a little bit earlier, of course, Roy Hinton having a good record with Swiftly and Manawapoi.
Before we get to Wednesday, it's Ladies' Day tomorrow, and I know you want the girls over if you can.
Yes, it is. All ladies admitted free tomorrow, and Bernard Hammerman are sponsoring the meeting, and Parade of Furs, and if this weather stays, we should have all the ladies in their autumn outfits.
To the field, though, tomorrow, on Wednesday at least, what's it like?
It's very even. Newcastle again has a strong representation with Max Lees and Paul Perry, Charlie Porter, the major stables in Newcastle having representatives, but a field of 16 with some young up-and-coming horses makes it a very interesting race, and a wide-open betting race too.
Yeah, well, back there
one
on the
runner
inside,
who's taken $1 or $2 home before is part of the
Brian
Mayfield Smith stable, who will be here in numbers. He's Penfold's winner, Top
down the
Avenger.
outside, and stood after the favourite. 200 to go's taken over Top Avenger. He's raced a half length in front. Prince Arthur followed by Classic Ella, ahead at Star Blazing Fontaine, but 100 to go. The Penfolds Classic, Top Avenger's in front, hit at Star Blazing Fontaine, but Top Avenger too good. Top Avenger came away.
They've been described as rebels with a cause, the Kulnura family that has thumbed its nose to amateur officials over the years, turned professional, and has made the boxing world sit up and take notice. What do you know about this bloke?
Not much. He's been a two-times Golden Glove champion of Texas, but that's about it. He's a strong fighter, so he's a walk-up. That'll suit me fine.
He comes with a big reputation, though, to have won 3 Golden Gloves titles. He can't be any mug.
No, he's no mug, but you know, we don't want to fight mugs.
Exactly. Would this be the biggest crowd you'll be in front of on Friday night?
Well, I've fought in front of a lot of big crowds as now when I've been overseas, but it'll be my far biggest crowd in Australia.
You'll be looking forward to it?
Oh, it's going to be great.
How are you feeling?
Good. Fantastic, 100%.
As for Joe Bugner's much publicised comeback, he's a sidestepper, according to the little man from London, who backs up his predictions with results.
But that's all. Oh, well, Joe Bugner's a never-wasser, who's, nearly 40 years of age. We're not really interested in him. We've given him his opportunity.
Exactly.
That's it.
What happens now?
Well, we'll see what Troy can do here on Friday night, and then we're looking for a big fight for Dean, possibly in London, and then Guy. You know, we're looking for world ratings, really.
Mike, but what of Fennick and his aim to be the first Aussie to win 2 world titles?
In my personal opinion, Fenwick has never really been tested because he's never been in with punches, he's never been in with really aggressive fighters. This Payakaroon, I've watched him on tape. Even Payakaroon doesn't impress me all that much, but I do think he'll make it awkward for Fenwick because he's going to move around, he's going to hit, and he's going to move. I think he'll move around. I think it's a good fight for Fenwick, but all up, I think Fenwick will be the winner.
The court specifically ruled today that a Rotary club in Duarte, California had a legal right to admit 3 women under California's non-discrimination law. The court held that the state law served a compelling interest in eliminating discrimination against women, and that clubs like Rotary are not true private associations.
Discrimination against women.
Clubs to accept women, and not just Rotary clubs and not just Lions clubs, are also being challenged in court for their man-only rules, and are under pressure to change.
And I think in 2 or 3 years, the issue will be gone. I think everybody will be open.
I suppose we are disappointed in the fact that the Supreme Court has said that we're no longer a private organization and no longer enjoy the privilege of deciding whom our members shall be.
In Australia, there are 1,000 Rotary clubs with more than 33,000 members. At this stage, there are no plans to include women, but that could change if the organisation was challenged under our equal opportunity legislation. However, any change to the Rotary Constitution probably won't happen before June. That's when the issue is likely to come to a head at the organisation's World Convention scheduled for Munich, West Germany.
Melissa Croft, her sudden rise to fame in the world of muscles has not only surprised the determined bodybuilder, but also her trainer. Only 9 months ago, Melissa decided to take the sport more seriously, teaming up with trainer Ken Aspey at the Broadmeadow Police Boys Gym. And it wasn't long before her natural talent shone through.
We let her enter the New South Wales Country Championship just for experience, and she actually won that. The week later, she got second in the South Pacific Championships in Sydney, and the UWBA Association, of which I'm a member, gave her the opportunity to represent Australia overseas at the International Invitational Championships in New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Not only did Melissa take out the lightweight title, but also the overall International Couples Championships. She's described as having the perfect frame, which has not gone unnoticed by the judges. With both the state and Australian titles coming up on the bodybuilding calendar, Melissa is now hard at training. Determined to continue her winning streak, the toned muscle builder hopes to be the youngest female ever to take out a world title.
Did you think you had the potential to be an international champion?
I thought I had the potential, other people had told me I had the potential, but I didn't think I'd sort of go this far this soon. I thought in a couple of years' time I'd win the international or those high contests then.
And are you confident of being the next Miss World?
2 years down the track, yes.
So that's a big aim?
Yeah, that's my biggest aim.
It was a crowd of proud relatives and friends that congratulated the students undertaking the various subjects offered at the Hamilton TAFE College. Trade and achievement certificates were presented to more than 100 students enrolled in the courses such as art and design, fashion, food, hairdressing and secretarial studies. As well as being recognised by the college for their intellectual abilities, the students also showed off their practical skills with a wide range of displays. There's nearly 4,000 students under Hamilton TAFE's roof, and as retiring Principal Neville Thomas explains, that figure is expected to increase when associate diplomas in hospitality and catering will be introduced later this year.
With the associate diploma, we would hope that we would start that in the next couple of months.
And what will that mean?
Well, we will be able to provide training here. People will not have to go to Ryde or the metropolitan colleges, and this college will continue to service the Central Coast, the local area and the North Coast.
More than 2,000 miners gathered in the rain and drizzle at the Paraglider ground to discuss a range of issues including workers' compensation, the national wage case and superannuation. But perhaps the item highest on the agenda was what the union describes as Sir Jody Peterson's draconian industrial relations legislation. The meeting was told that Queensland unions producing goods for trade and commerce or research and development are now prohibited from taking strike action under the new legislation. Others must give 7 days' notice of any industrial action, with fines of $250,000 for unions and $50,000 for individuals who disobey the ruling. National President of the Miners Federation, John Maitland, says the legislation is no longer something remote that just affects Queensland workers.
That type of legislation, whilst it has been introduced in Queensland, is being mirrored, or is being suggested as being mirrored in both New South Wales and federally by John Howard. I mean, on Monday this week, the New South Wales opposition leader, Greiner, indicated that he will introduce similar legislation, so workers in the Hunter Valley ought to be very concerned about it.
The miners decided that a planned visit by Sir Joe next week, where he will talk at a Civic Club rally, would be the perfect venue for them to show their disapproval. The miners will meet at the Workers' Club next Friday and plan to march on Civic Park with placards voicing their disapproval. Mr Maitland doesn't believe that their action will be playing into Sir Joe's hands.